Congressman Matt Gaetz is one of those lawmakers who signed that letter. You join me now. Why the letter? Why sign?
Harris, I am certain that there were senior officials at the Department of Justice and FBI that steered Hillary Clinton away from trouble. And some of those very people ended up valeting dirt about President Trump from the DNC and the Clinton campaign and even Russians into the intelligence process. We cannot have the Department of Justice and we cannot have the FBI investigate themselves. They're not going to put handcuffs on themselves. They're not going to impanel a grand jury to investigate themselves. And as Congressman Gowdy correctly pointed out, the Inspector General is limited. I think he's doing a good job, and we know a lot from the Inspector General, but he can't go force James Comey to talk to him. When Andrew McCabe is outside of the employment of the FBI, he has no jurisdiction to compel responses. And so I think it's very important that we do what Trey Gowdy has now come on board to support, and that is potentially a second special counsel so that we have real accountability for these crimes that were committed against President Trump and his team.
Yeah, I'm glad you explained it. What Gowdy and others are saying right now is that some people have left the employ of these agencies. So that's outside the scope of the Inspector General. You would have to then go after them. You know, in your wording, you have said that you want to thank a New York Congressman, Lee Zeldin. Why?
Yes.
Zeldin, rather.
Well,
why?
Lee Zeldin has led this letter. He's organized a group of Republicans to call for this. It's also important to note, Harris, that 7 months ago, Judiciary Chairman Bob Goodlatte led a group of over 20 members who signed a demand for a second special counsel, and we went and delivered that to Jeff Sessions. Unfortunately, Jeff Sessions was totally non-responsive.
Why?
So the next... Well, I don't know. That's really the question. If Jeff Sessions doesn't want to do the job of Attorney General, he should step aside and we should get somebody who wants to do that job, because right now we won't get a second special counsel unless the Attorney General appoints one. We don't have that power as Congress. We can't throw people in jail. We can't impanel grand juries. We can simply uncover the facts. But now with the facts Congress has uncovered and that the Inspector General expects to report within the coming weeks, we have to have someone who can actually bring accountability. And one of the reasons I think Trey Gowdy is actually coming on board with this is that he's gone through Benghazi, where we had all the bad facts in the world, but no one went to jail. There was no accountability. We need to get out of that system and back to a system that restores the rule of law.
Am I hearing a drumbeat with regard to Jeff Sessions? Do your job or get out? Because I've heard it from many members of Congress now.
It's very frustrating when you want to get answers from the Attorney General and you're instead referred to the office of Rod Rosenstein and you end up meeting with his deputies instead of getting real responses from the Attorney General, who has an obligation to fulfill the duties of that job. Look, I think that Jeff Sessions was a fantastic senator, but the moment he recused himself from the Russia investigation and handed the major decisions over to the professionals at the Department of Justice who were intertwined with the fact pattern, I think he really he was in dereliction of his duty. And that's why I think he needs to step up. There's still time. Jeff Sessions today could appoint a second special counsel, but what in the world is he waiting for after seeing the information in the Nunes memo that was largely affirmed by Adam Schiff's memo? I mean, come on, we've got the evidence. Now we need the accountability.
I want to flip to this. President Trump tweeted, "Why did the Obama administration start an investigation into the Trump campaign with zero proof of wrongdoing long before the election in November? Wanted to discredit so crooked H for Hillary would win. Unprecedented, bigger than Watergate. Plus, Obama did nothing about Russian meddling." Your thoughts?
Well, President Trump yet again proven right. I remember when the mainstream media ridiculed President Trump for suggesting that the Obama administration was actually spying on him and spying on his team. Everyone said, oh, how outrageous that was. Now we know that was true. And not only was there spying happening, it was happening based on a false and rotten premise in this dossier that was funded by the DNC, the Clinton campaign, and then ultimately fueled by information from Russians. And so I think the president has been vindicated. I think he knows that, and I think it's important for him to restore the rule of law by getting us back to a system where we can trust and rely on the FBI and the Department of Justice. I've talked to the president about this in this particular regard, Harris. He wants an FBI and a Department of Justice that is trusted by the American people, and he views it as one of the calls of his presidency to set this right.
Well, the American people want that too.
Absolutely.
I mean, we're watching accusations of bias and a whole lot coming out of agencies. Of course, they want that too. Congressman Gaetz, I hope you'll come back soon from the great state of Florida. Thank you.